Game day.
What's up, everybody in Chiefs Kingdom? What a playoff game, and the fourth coldest game in NFL history, since they've been recording them anyway. And the Chiefs came out and played like they should have been playing all season, really. And they played in terrible weather, but I'm happy with it. Hey, man, we got Caleb, we got Quentin, we got Thiz running the show, and you got the OG JP. What's up, fellas?
Fantastic. A great playoff one. How are you doing, guys?
I got two exterior walls in the room that I'm sitting in right now, so I got the space heater pointed pretty much right at me, just outside of the camera view here. So I'm nice and toasty, nice and.
I see you got the Foco stuff wearing Foco.
Dude, this thing, dude, I loved it. This thing is so warm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're huge.
I know.
They're huge.
You can put layers on layers underneath this bad boy, but it's just
Yeah.
warm. I wore it during the game.
Yeah.
Sitting in my living room.
Sitting in my living room. I didn't turn on the heat. I just wore this jacket. Well, we named the show sushi for Dolphin sushi for dinner. Could have been frozen fish. Could have been fish sticks. Really didn't matter. We did a great job against this team. We knew Tua was going to have a hard time. I'll give Tyreek his props. He made a nice catch, and he got a touchdown. But you know the ironic thing, and I said it early in the PSF show, he had 62 yards in Frankfurt. He had 62 yards in this game.
Mm-hmm.
We still have not allowed a top wide receiver to go over 62 yards, even in the postseason. So shout out to Snead, McDuffie, Watson. All those guys just played out of their shoes today.
And it was the touchdown was given up by McDuffie. It wasn't even given up by Snead. So Snead still hasn't allowed a touchdown all year.
No, he has not. What's up, Philip? Hey, how about Taylor Swift's dance and jacket? I got to bring this up. First of all, she had that whole suite rocking, but those jackets are fucking lit. I don't care what anybody says.
Say that. You can't be saying that, JP. Leave it to us millennials to get the inner lingo, you know?
JP, say it was fire.
They were fire.
There you go. Caleb can say it.
They were fire.
JP can say it.
Yeah, I can say what it mean. They were sick-ass jackets. They were. Both of them. They look good. I mean, I would wear that jacket. But Taylor had this shit rocking, man. She had that whole suite just rolling up there. I was happy about the whole game, man. Give me some thoughts. You guys.
Just kind of looking at the game. Defense did their thing. They pretty much shut down Tua, as Quentin said. They stopped the middle of the field passing, so everyone to get Quentin his props there. The offense, yeah, we had some drops, but they were able to settle in, and they did pretty well for the most part. It tells me that they did not trust Tony in this game at all. So,
I don't think it was so much of a trust issue.
The offense did very, very well moving the ball. Justin Watson was able to catch his stuff. Kelsey did his thing. But Rashee Rice,
8 receptions,
is a guy that's going to be helpful for this team moving forward. And if they could just pair him with another receiver, there's going to be a lot of great things. But I'm going to leave you guys with this before I let you move on, before we move on to what you guys have to say. This showed me that this team can play and compete with almost anyone in the AFC. And if they play a game like this, and if the offense can continue to do their thing, the Chiefs will be fine. Week by week, it's depending on this could be the Texans they could possibly play, or the Bills, I believe. So it's one of those two. So most likely it could be the Bills if the Steelers upset them, but we're gonna have the Bills. We have to travel to Buffalo. It'll be a great game, but I think the Chiefs are in a good spot. This is what a win that they needed, and their defense stepped up, and the offense showed what they can do. So I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, my just quick thoughts on the game. I'm going to start on the defensive side first. Yeah, you're right to bring that up, Caleb. Kansas City did a great job taking over the middle of the field. We didn't allow them to do their quick over the middle stuff. A lot of those routes are timing based. It's 1-2 gun it. You've got fast wide receivers, fast guys to run over the middle of the field. So I know that they're going to be able to undercut the linebackers and the corners that are covering them. So let's 1-2 quick step drop, throw it over the middle, let my wide receiver then go and move forward off of that. Kansas City shut that stuff down early. And the linebackers, defensive edge guys, and even the corners and safeties, everybody was playing sideline to sideline. When they could not move and when they couldn't get over the middle of the field, they tried to do a lot of that off to the side stuff. And I mean, Chris Jones was running dudes down onto the sideline. So everybody was flying to the football. It was -7 degrees outside with like -35 with the wind chill. And Kansas City was not playing like that. Kansas City was playing like it was just another January game. And this defense came out ready to play.
Yeah.
On the offensive side, I'm a little disappointed in the offensive line. Not just from the penalty standpoint, but also just I can't believe that the Dolphins got that much pressure on Mahomes. There were 3 dudes on the defensive line that were collecting Social Security checks for the Dolphins.
Yep.
3 former Chiefs were on that offensive line, including 2 guys that had been sitting on their couch a month ago. So I'm a little upset to see the amount of pressure that Patrick Mahomes was under. But Patrick Mahomes was able to do Patrick Mahomes things and made a few big plays, including the one that broke his helmet. So, look, Kansas City did a great job in a lot of different ways. Some big players came out and did what they were supposed to do. Rashee Rice, in my opinion, is no longer a rookie. He's played a full season in a playoff game. He is clearly the number 1 guy inside the receiving room, and he came up ready to play. Excited to see that. 8 receptions for 130 yards and a touchdown. And he had some of those catches were not easy. He was snagging balls out of the air. Early in the game, Patrick Mahomes was throwing the ball high. It was like
first two series he was. The first 2 series he really didn't look that good.
Yeah, first 5-6 passes, everything was up high, and guys were having to go up and try and high point the ball. And it did not bother Rice at all. You gotta love what he brings to this team. Big part of the win today.
I'm gonna give a little bit of pushback on the offensive line. Other than Jawan Taylor, look, man, there was the average time that Mahomes had in the pocket was 5.99 seconds.
You're right. There were plenty of times where Mahomes was able to do a crossword puzzle before throwing the ball.
Absolutely. And I, in that cold with the the wind and everything that was going on, the ice-covered field, even though it was heated, it's more difficult. No matter what position you play, it's more difficult. I know these guys, look, with the exception of Jawan Taylor and his fucking continual mistakes, I mean, he just set an NFL record.
That was kind of ticky-tack.
Which one?
The block in the back that cost Rice a second TD.
I said that during the PSF show, and everybody said I was crazy, but he was pushed. If you didn't, I don't know if anybody noticed, but a Dolphins player landed. He kind of landed on him, and he fell into him, and there was nothing he could really do about that. But the jumping offside. Now, here I will say this: when he jumped off sides, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Agba actually moved first. I don't know if anybody went back and looked at that, but Agba actually, his body jerked before Taylor moved. So that's why Taylor jumped. But they didn't call it that way. And then the pass interference call that was missed was just, it is what it is. That's why Andy lost his mind. Mahomes lost his mind. That was clearly pass interference. And
that was obvious. It was blatant.
Yeah. But look, man, this team played a tremendous game in horrible weather. No matter how you look at it, what team was out there, that would have been a lot different game with any other football team. The Ravens wouldn't have been able to do that. There's no way they would have been able to play in that weather. I don't think really any football team could, right? Other than maybe Buffalo to a degree. That's the only team I can see doing it because they're used to playing in frigid temperatures. It's just a tough fought win. And I couldn't be more pleased. Rashee Rice was a god tonight. And hey, look, MVS actually caught one before he missed another one. But he did catch a little short pass.
Holmes did go to him right when he missed it. He was like, I got you, man, or something like that. To help keep his spirits up.
Here's the thing. It wasn't a trust issue with Tony. It was a fear factor because he had come off of the injury reserve and they were more worried about him getting injured in the cold and they want him further down the stretch. They figured they could beat them without having him on the field, and that's why they did it. It really wasn't a trust factor. It was more or less, let's just not get him injured again because he's kind of made of glass right now. So let's just, see what we can do about that. But They all played well. Do you guys want to get into your offensive, defensive rookies real quick?
Our MVPs.
MVPs. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
Caleb,
said
go ahead.
rookies. I'm tired, man. It's been a long day.
I'm going to give my offensive MVP. I'm going to have to give it to. I'm not going to take one that's easy for us. I'm going to have to give my offensive MVP to Pacheco because his run games with the Chiefs really needed in this cold weather. Because he was able to get first down to first down, 5 yards, 4 yards, 6 yards, 4 yards, just continual doing that. And because that, it allowed for the Chiefs to not have to pass all the time. So I have to give mine to Pacheco. JP, who you
And
got?
I agree with that too, dude, because – and you know what else? I have to give Andy a little bit of credit because he didn't abandon it. And usually when it starts to kind of look like they're not going to do so well, which, Pacheco had a couple of times where he was stuffed at the line, caught behind the line of scrimmage. Andy didn't abandon it. He kept with the run game, and I'm proud of the fact that he did that. I agree. I mean, look, man, it's a no-brainer. I'm giving it to Kelsey. I was going to give it to Rice, but that's easy. Kelsey had a great game. He proved today why he's not retiring. He proved today that he's not some, old man. He's just a beast. He's still just as good as he ever was. Playing out there in them elements. I think he had 88 yards on the day. That's crazy, dude. I'm sorry, but that's just crazy. He had a great game. So I'm giving it to Kelsey. I mean, Rice is the easy one, so I'll give that to Quentin.
Yeah, I like the Pacheco pick. Guy was averaging almost 4 yards a carry. Travis Kelsey, dependable, seven receptions. This looked like a vintage Travis Kelsey game. All he needed was a touchdown, and that would have been like the Travis Kelsey of old, right? But I'm giving it to Rice. I mean, come on, look, this is a guy that he put the team on his back today, and that's not something that you would expect from such a young receiver. I don't care that it's the easy choice. I think it's the clear choice, and we really can, move forward with this guy as the number one wide receiver. Look, when a guy is such a big part of the team, when he, gets a little tripped up on the sideline and goes down on a knee, and everybody is holding their breath. That's how you know how important he is to the team, because you have that oh shit moment. It's like, is he good? Is he okay? Like, you're always worried about some of that non-contact stuff, or when a guy just trips and falls a little awkwardly. That's how you know how important a guy is to your team. When you maybe the guy or the gal that's in the room with you who doesn't know that much about football or isn't in the weeds in as much, they're also worried. That's when you know that person is a big part of your team. So, I got to give it to Rice because he came back in the next drive and had another big catch. So, Rice is going to give other teams something to worry about, and that's going to keep opening up options for Kelsey and Pacheco.
Correct.
I'm giving it to Rice.
And let's not forget about, look, Noah Gray had a good game. He really did. He had a good game out there. And Watson, for that matter. They all actually played well, which as a unit, that's been kind of sparse this year. And they played very well as a unit, and I'm happy. Now, McCole, look, man.
McCole's so messed up.
I'm sorry, but he pissed me off through that entire game. I mean, he just stops on his routes.
Yeah.
He completely stops on his routes, and I don't understand why he's doing that.
You can't throw your hands up when you're being held and then complain about being held, because you're simply not going to get those calls all the time. You got to fight to the ball. Plus, if you're fighting to the ball and someone tugs at you, it looks way more like someone tugged at you when you just stop mid-route. Yeah, that's extremely frustrating to just see that. It's like you have to fight through it. Welcome to the NFL.
Yeah. And then honestly, even the one that he wasn't tugged on, the first one that he just completely stopped in
he stutter stepped, and it's just like, you gotta run through the route, dude.
Run through the fucking route, and you'll catch the ball. I mean, it's not that difficult. It's not rocket science. You've been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah, it's not rocket surgery.
Yeah, so let's just get that on. I mean, it was frustrating to watch that happen, but it is what it is. Everybody else stepped up when they needed to, and it turned out to be a great game offensively. Now let's get to defense. That's crazy. Our defense is
I'm going to
insane.
give my defensive MVP. Phillips' offensive MVP is Rice and Kelsey combined for 15 catches, 201 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah,
nice.
They're crazy good together.
My defensive MVP, I'm going to give it to Nick Bolton, because Nick Bolton is really the heartbeat of this defense. He is going to be better than Derek Johnson. We all know who good Jarek Johnson was, those OG Chiefs fans.
Yep.
That guy was phenomenal. Nick Bowen's going to break all that guy's records the way he is playing. Just continuously going out there, laying guys out, getting tackles, set the defense. I mean, this guy has been phenomenal week in and week out, so I got to give it to him.
Yeah. Well, look, man, it is what it is. I am going to pick Snead because Snead, again, didn't allow another – he did not allow a touchdown today. So he's through the playoffs with 0 touchdowns.
And he pancaked Hill.
And he
Dude,
pancaked
he gave him the beats. Dude,
He
he
did.
came in and flattened his ass.
Oh, my God. And Hill was so frustrated, especially at the end of that game. He just said, fuck it, I'm leaving the field. And he left the field. He was done. I have to give it to to Snead. He just played out of his shoes. They have to re-sign him next year. You are not going to find his replacement. You have a rookie, we talked about, Quentin. You have a rookie sitting there that you're not really paying. So pay Snead for 3 years, and then when the contract's up, then you roll over to McDuffie and you start paying him. Mm-hmm. You have to keep him.
I have made the argument that the Chiefs drafted Shamari Connor to be the Snead replacement.
That's what I'm thinking.
But this year has convinced me more and more that I do think Kansas City needs to look at least into the opportunity of keeping Snead. He has proven to me that he is a true number 1 corner. I didn't believe that heading into the year that he was a true number 1 corner. And I still think that you're crazy if you think that he was a true number 1 corner heading into the season, because he hadn't shown that. And he came into this year and he's just ready to go. I still think that the number has to be right. You can't give him, the whole Brinks truck. But he has proven to me that this is a guy that you can continue to build your defensive round.
Yeah. George got Karlaftis, and so does Phillip.
That's it's interesting because that's my MVP of the game. 6 tackles, 1.5 sacks. He had that big blow up in the backfield as well on one of their running plays. George Karlaftis is a guy that sometimes it just seems like he's half a step away from getting a sack, and then his motor keeps running and he eventually gets there. Or he's just a guy, he's going to get a ton of pressure, and he's a pressure machine. I'll say this, and I'm going to keep saying it because it's simply true that pressures are an offensive line stat and sacks are a quarterback stat, because quarterbacks can avoid sacks or walk their way into sacks with how their dropbacks are and how they move out of the pocket. But pressures are on the offense and defensive linemen. And George Karlaftis continues to be a guy that he's just ready to go. It doesn't seem to matter who he's going up against, where he's lined up, left side, right side, all the way out, lined up against the tight end. I mean, this guy is just ready to go. He doesn't care. And 1.5 sacks and a ton of pressures today. He was very effective on the defensive line, and he had a very quiet 10.5 sack season to begin with. So this is a guy that I think has flown under the radar for a lot of Chiefs fans this year as to how good he's been. Yeah. And because we've been so focused on guys like Snead and McDuffie and Chris Jones and the linebacking core, George Karlaftis has flown under the radar, and I think it's about time, especially with his production in this game, that we give our love to the George Karlaftis.
Yeah, furious George. The guy is he's something else, man. I don't know, brother. I mean, they fought the entire game. Mahomes, I got to give that guy. Joe said Mahomes, and I agree. Mahomes fought hard today, man.
Look,
I mean, those runs were insane of his. I mean, shattered it. And I understand why the helmet broke. I mean, it's fucking frozen. It's frozen plastic. It's going to crack. But you still have to hit it pretty damn hard to bust a big-ass hole in it, no matter how cold it is. And he got hit in the helmet really hard. I mean, that was a helmet-to-helmet hit. And he took it in stride and just – man, we got so lucky. We are the luckiest NFL football team probably ever to have that guy on our team. It's that simple. We are the luckiest team ever to have him. There's no doubt.
And Kansas City scored 6 times.
Yeah, 6 times.
Now I know the score was, they only scored 26 points, but I bring that up because Kansas City moved the ball. All of the field goals were within 40 yards. I think the longest one was 33 yards. So Kansas City was able to move the ball up and down the field, and it has been 32 was the long. Harrison Butker had a hell of a game. So this was a very good game, despite the fact you'd like to see him punch it in the end zone a couple more times.
Mhm.
But I like this. I think this is a great way to play against a team like Miami. You get down into either in the red zone or just outside of it. You take the field goal. You don't make the stupid mistake of going forward on 4th and 4. To try and get into the end zone. You have a fantastic defense. Play through Isaiah Pacheco, and you got to play like it's 2001 again.
Mhm.
And that is a recipe for success for this team. Don't forget it, Kansas City, because that is the correct way to play right now. And just accept it.
Yep, it absolutely is. And honestly, I mean, if you really look at it, I don't know how many. I didn't look to see how many yards Pacheco had.
Like 46, 47, I think, something like that.
Isaiah Pacheco had 89 yards rushing.
Oh.
Yeah, 89 yards. I thought it was close to that, but I wasn't sure. Here's the thing. Mahomes threw the ball a lot, and he still had 89 yards.
He had Patrick Mahomes threw the ball 41 times, 23 completions for 262 yards.
And I think they had over 400 yards all total today. So
yeah, and he had 41 rushing yards on top of that. So
yeah, I mean that. Look, when you have a quarterback that throws the ball 41 times and your running back still picks up 89 yards, just one of them, and Clyde actually picked up a lot of yardage.
Clyde had 7 carries for 21 yards. So you broke 100 yards with your running backs.
Correct. That right there is a recipe for a Super Bowl run. It's that simple. A great defense. You balance the game out the way they did today between the run and the pass. Mm-hmm. As long as everybody's playing the way they should be playing, they'll get where they need to get. I do want to give a shout out to the Texans. Before we end this show, I'm going to give a shout out to the Texans. They absolutely obliterated the Browns, and CJ Stroud was phenomenal. Phenomenal. He was phenomenal.
What was the quarterback for the
Fluco? Joe Fluco.
Oh, Joe Fluco.
Yeah.
It's almost like the last month and a half of football is just a fluke, and it's not Joe Fluco, not an elite quarterback, and he's gonna make a bunch of mistakes when he throws the ball down the field. If only someone would have said that.
Hey, but you know what though? Hey, that really doesn't make a bit of difference because that number 3 defense in the league got 45 put up on them.
Yep.
So CJ Stroud played out of his shoes today. And absolutely, Joe, you're 100% right. They will give Baltimore fits. They're going to give anybody fits they play, including us if we end up playing them, which I'm not going to say we're not. Mm-hmm. If we end up playing those guys, damn. We got to our defense has to really, really watch CJ Stroud because that kid is good. He's damn good. With that being said, great win. On to the next one. We'll find out really tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Monday. It depends on the Buffalo game. If Buffalo wins, Kansas City will travel to Buffalo to play them. If Pittsburgh wins, then we will.
Pittsburgh comes to us. Texans come to us.
Yeah, the Texans will come to us. Pittsburgh will head to Baltimore. So
correct.
It depends on that game, which is going to be on Monday. They moved it because of the crazy amount of snow. Because of what do they call it? The lake effect.
Yeah, that was insane.
So we will have more thoughts on this game and taking a look into what's going to happen around the NFL on Tuesday on our Tuesday show. So go ahead and check that out. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell.
Yes, please. Ding, ding. Buy us a cup of coffee. That's all we're asking. With that being said, we will talk to you guys again on Tuesday. Peace out, everybody.